evening. A meaningful silence is always better than meaningless words. Welcome to BMC News Live English. Myself, Shina Sultana, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines.
Bahrain successfully achieved 10 days without COVID-19 fatalities. Bahrain recorded 111 new COVID-19 cases yesterday. Saudi begins receiving pilgrims for Umrah. UAE announced residents can start receiving new Emirates ID cards. Canada allows vaccinated US citizens to visit again.
Bahrain has witnessed no COVID-19 deaths for 10 consecutive days for the first time since January this year. The kingdom shares the merit with Qatar, the only two GCC countries to have achieved the feat, as the remaining four, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman, are still recording statistics of heartache and loss as a result of the virus. Out of 16,922 COVID-19 tests carried out yesterday, 111 new cases have been detected in Bahrain. Of these, 30 were expatriate workers, 67 were contacts of active cases, and 14 travel-related. There were 117 recoveries and 0 deaths recorded. The Indian Ladies Association successfully accomplished the 2-month course in spoken English conducted by Speak Easy Committee. The valediction ceremony for the students' achievement was held on 6th August at the ILA premises. The ceremony was attended by chief guests Dr. Babu Ramachandran, physician at AMH, also chairman of Indian Community Relief Fund, and Mrs. Raji Unnikrishnan, senior journalist at GDN, along with past presidents Mrs. Reena Sridhar and Mrs. Nivedita Datta. Pilgrimage operators have been flooded with requests from citizens eager to travel to Saudi Arabia, which will gradually begin receiving Umrah pilgrims starting today. Saudi Arabia has stopped receiving overseas worshippers almost 18 months ago due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now we'll go for a short commercial break.
All your favorite products under one roof in Bahrain at 27-year-old Megamart and Macromart. Bakery, fresh meat and fish, fruits and vegetables, sweets and snacks, ready-to-eat foods, dairy products, grocery or consumer goods. To have a wonderful shopping experience, please visit your nearest Megamart Macromart branch. Megamart and Macromart, full of goodness.
Every piece of jewelry tells a story. Its raw beauty speaks of its natural origins. The brilliant design speaks of unparalleled craftsmanship. Its elegance evokes the passion and energy of those who wear it. At Al Siraj Jewelry, our story, our pride.
Welcome back. The Saudi Ministry of Sports has announced the increase of the capacity for attendance of sports competitions for 2021 to 2022 sports season by no more than 60% of the capacity of the stands instead of 40%. This is based on the updates issued by the authorities concerned with the following up on the developments of the COVID-19, Saudi press agency reported. Capacity at shopping malls, hotels, cinemas and eateries in the UAE has been increased to 80%. The National Emergency Crisis and Disasters Management Authority has announced. This came as a string of COVID-19 safety rules were relaxed. Up to 10 people can be seated at one table at restaurants and cafes. They are required to wear a face mask while away from their tables. Events can be hosted at 60% of capacity provided attendees maintain an adequate social distance and wear masks. Capacity in public transport has been increased to 75%. Wedding halls can host 60% of capacity, but the total number of guests must not exceed 300 people. A handful of residents have started receiving the new and improved Emirates ID cards since the end of June this year, according to business and typing centers in the country. The Federal Authority for Identity and Citizenship on Saturday unveiled the new version of the ID, which is part of the transition to the upgraded generation of identity cards and passports. Even with the new features and design, Emirates ID fees remain unchanged, the ICA reminded. Tokyo doused its Olympic flame on Sunday in a ceremony that echoed the restraint of a games held without spectators and transformed by the global pandemic, dazzling sport and deeply personal turmoil. After postponing the Tokyo 2020 Games for a year, organizers said the event would serve as a symbol of world triumph over the pandemic. But with strict pandemic countermeasures and as COVID-19 variants have surged back around the world, the Olympics fell short of the triumph and financial windfall Japan had wanted. The scene was meant as the visitors could experience Tokyo, organizers said, a poignant reminder of the many restrictions of the Games. Canada announced US citizens and legal permanent residents must be both fully vaccinated and test negative for COVID-19 within 3 days to get across one of the world's longest and busiest land borders. Travelers also must fill out a detailed application on a ArriveCan app before crossing, AP reports. With this, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Signing off by Shina Sultana. Good night.